Otangelo in Brazil.
Hello.
Did I pronounce that right?
Good evening. Yes, Otangelo, that's all right.
How are you? You want to talk about an alternative to a creator? Sorry.
Excuse me?
You have an idea about the creator?
Yes. Well, for me, the existence of God is one of the most obvious truths. So
Really?
I don't think it's obvious.
wonder,
Maybe you can help me see it.
I do. So
Why?
yes, I would like to know the alternative to
But why?
a creator. Yeah, let me finish. The alternative to a creator is no creator.
Okay.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So either there is a creator or there is no creator.
Mhm.
That are the two possibilities, correct?
Yeah.
So now we have to figure out what makes more sense, that there is one or that there is none.
Why does it matter what makes sense?
We care about what's true.
Well, first of all, we cannot prove ultimate reality. We cannot prove if there is a God or not.
Right.
All we can do is figure out what makes.
Well, we can look for evidence, and if we don't find evidence, then maybe it's a good thing not to believe in a God, right?
Because we can't prove it.
Well, the question is, what do we regard as evidence? And I would say what we have on hand to figure out if there is a creator or not are two things. One is creation, our existence, what is all around us. And second is direct revelation.
Okay. I don't consider revelation to be very a reliable evidence at all.
Good. So now we can check out about existence, reality, what is around us, the universe, the earth, life. That is what exists. So the question is, why should we believe that everything that exists has no cause rather than having a cause?
Well, I would phrase it differently. I would say that we may not know what a cause is, but until we do, we would maybe be skeptical of any claim and say whoever's making a claim, we would look at the evidence for that claim and see whether it made sense or not. It may be that we don't know the answer to some of those questions, and in which case the proper answer is I don't know.
I don't think that is a proper answer, Don. I think this is willful ignorance.
No, it's not.
Wow.
No, it's not. It's
You're going far into saying
it's humility.
Willful
it's
ignorance.
It's saying that I don't know something, and so I'm not going to make up an answer. So it's honest and it's humble.
Let me ask you something.
I'm sorry?
Let me ask you something.
Okay.
So let me ask you something. Let's suppose that you find a blueprint, a precise instruction manual, how to make a factory, and then subsequently you see that factory exactly made upon the exact instructions of that blueprint. And somebody comes to you and asks you, what do you think? Was the blueprint and the factory made by intelligence, or did it come up by unguided random events? What makes more sense?
Wait, do you have a blueprint of the universe?
No, we have a blueprint.
No, I believe that in that case we have evidence for a designer and that the factory is designed.
Good, Don. I agree with you. Each living cell hosts a blueprint.
No, it's not a blueprint.
Stored in DNA.
It's not a blueprint.
It is a blueprint.
No, it's not.
It is a blueprint.
What's your definition of a blueprint,
blueprint.
Otangelo? What's your definition of a blueprint?
So let me ask Don.
Otangelo, what is
You are
your...
asserting it's design when it's not.
I'm asking you a question, and I'd please answer it, okay? Please answer the question that I'm going to ask you, okay? What is your definition of a blueprint?
It is an instruction how to make, for example, a factory.
It's an instruction The definition of a blueprint is an example of how to make a factory?
Yes, I'm a machine designer, okay?
So what?
When I...
So there are instructions of how to make factories in us?
Let me finish again. Let me finish. When I sit on the drawing table, then I design a factory with the precise sizes, instructions, materials, everything that is needed, that someone can take that blueprint and then make the factory. All right?
Okay.
Okay, so DNA stores exactly the same.
No, it's not.
It doesn't store instructions of how to make a factory, I'll tell you that.
Oh, well, a cell is a factory.
Yeah, I
okay.
understand your point,
Okay.
but I disagree with it wholeheartedly.
Well, so you disagree with me. So my question is, what does DNA do? What does the information stored in DNA do?
DNA encodes for proteins and different.
Right, exactly.
Why are you assuming
Yes,
there's instructions, though? That's what I'm trying to understand. When I give
But it
you
has nothing to do with the
instructions,
blueprint.
I'm giving you.
That's
I'm giving you.
You said it right. Though. It codes for proteins.
Yes.
What is that code? It's an instruction manual.
No,
No,
you're reading more into it than
No.
it's chemicals that have an effect.
Listen, Stefan.
You're trying to define you're trying to put a designer in here.
No, listen. Let me finish. Let me make that clear to you. The DNA information instructs the sequence of amino acids which make proteins. The right sequence is essential. If you don't have the right amino acid sequence, you don't have functional proteins. All right?
Right, but it's not a blueprint, right? Because it doesn't have different pages with diagrams of what the final result will be and measurements and scales and all that. So it's not a blueprint, right?
Well, I say it's a blueprint in order for you to understand.
You're using an analogy to sneak in a designer is what you're doing.
Well, let me explain to you. You have a DNA sequence, and that DNA sequence instructs and specifies exactly the amino acid sequence that is required to make a functional protein. If that sequence is not right, you cannot have a 3D folding protein which will become a molecular machine. It doesn't work. So you need the right DNA.
So we agree it works.
We agree it won't work if you don't have all the pieces.
And what instructs
So wait. So hold on.
sequence,
The DNA is a blueprint for a factory. Hold on.
It's a blueprint for a cell like a blueprint would be for a factory.
So if a blueprint is to a factory as a cell, as DNA is to a cell, is that what you're saying?
The information stored in DNA instructs how to make, for example, a minimal protein set, which is necessary to have a self-replicating biological cell.
Right.
And you need a minimal number. For example, science says that you need at least 560 proteins, and each protein with an average size
that we know
400 amino acids.
So can you answer my question? I'm trying to understand you, but you just keep talking about other things. Are you saying that a blueprint is to a factory as DNA is to a cell?
Yes.
How do you know that those two things are equate? I'm curious.
I am trying to explain it to you. You have in DNA a sequence of deoxynucleotides.
So it looks like a map?
It is a code. You can see it as a map. I would say it is a sequence of deoxyribonucleotides, and this sequence specifies or instructs the ribosome in the cell, the sequence that has to be assembled
So I would say that it
nuances.
displays, not instructs. You're saying instructs as if you're assuming that there's a personification there, either there's somebody telling me what to do. I think that what you're describing sounds to me like it just displays what's happening. And then if it doesn't work, then something's missing, and that just sounds like physics.
Ultimately, it's a chemical, right?
But first you have.
So do you understand what I'm saying? Do you understand why I'm confused, why I'm not following what you're saying?
Okay, I'm trying.
Do you understand why I'm not following? I'm asking you if you understand me.
Okay, go ahead. Try to explain why.
I'm asking you if you understand me. If you're not trying to understand me, so this is how a conversation works. I try to understand what you're trying to say, and you try to understand what I'm trying to say, and then we see what happens. But if you're not trying to listen to me, I don't know why we're talking.
Okay, go ahead. Explain.
No, I'm already done talking. Like I talked, and then I asked if you understand, and you're like, okay, talk.
Well, could you explain again what you don't understand?
I don't understand. When you are describing to me how you know that DNA is a blueprint, what you're telling me is it sounds like it's a map where you're saying that it's instructing me on what to do to build a cell, where I'm saying it sounds to me like it's just displaying how a cell works or exists or whatever. I don't understand why you're assuming that there's somebody there telling me to build a cell. I don't understand you. Do you understand why I'm confused is my question.
Yeah, I am understanding you, Jenna.
Okay, thank you.
I will explain in this following manner. There is nobody all the time there instructing the sequence of DNA, okay? We have, let's suppose, imagine the first living cell. Okay?
Okay.
The first living cell. That first living cell needs a minimal amount of specified complex sequence stored in DNA, which instructs a minimal set of proteins which turn a cell functional.
Okay. Hey, let's talk about a cell wall, for example. Did you know that it's possible for there to be a cell without a cell wall?
Explain me, how is that possible?
There can be different types of clays that act as a type of protectant for it, or different porous materials. And so it's possible to have a minimal biological capability without a cell wall. And so it may be that this magic number that you came up with is much smaller than you think.
Well, that's not what I am saying. I am citing a science paper which was released in 2005. And
we're a lot later than 2005 now.
Michael Behe, I'm guessing?
No, it's a secular science paper. It's about what is required for a minimal cell to maintain the basic living function.
It's almost 2020.
Living today by itself, right? So
a living cell, yes, a self-replicating living cell.
And you're saying, Mike, there had to have been a God to have made that, right? That first cell.
So hold on, Otangelo, you don't believe that what Don is saying, that a cell can exist without a cell wall. You don't believe that, correct?
Well,
do you not believe that?
A cell needs homeostasis. No, a cell.
No, you don't believe that, correct?
Alive. No, I don't.
Okay, can you go look that up? And then after you look it up from several different sources online, can you call us back? And I'll look it up too. And next time I'm on, hopefully you call and we can talk. But can you go look that up and then we can continue this conversation? Because it sounds to me like I don't know. He's giving you examples of why why what you're saying doesn't work.
Well, he should back it up. I want to know how he knows that works, because I've never seen a science paper claiming that a cell can exist and be alive without a cell wall.
Well, I read that in Scientific American, and I don't recall what issue.
Well,
So-
we are just moving goalposts because we were talking about if DNA stores a blueprint to make proteins.
And I'm
how
saying I
these
don't
points
understand
were
why you
created.
think it's a blueprint, and that's where we're starting. So before we can get
Yeah.
further in the conversation, we have to fix that. Do you understand why?
Right.
I think I was very clear, and I would.
But you
try-
weren't. I
Yeah.
disagree with you. And
Yeah.
before, you know what? I'm done.
Yeah. Blueprint's the wrong word.
Go look it up. We'll maybe word it differently, but we're going to try this again maybe later. Okay.
You know, if you have God running around in the wombs of creatures, creating little cells in there, then maybe there's a God. But I don't see any evidence for a God. So thank you for your call.
The evidence in
Thanks so
chart-
much,
chart-
Otangelo.